many of you watching have been in school for 5, 6, maybe 7 years, and you've gained tons of know-how from school, friends, books, and maybe YouTube. As we get started, let's put that knowledge to the test. I'm going to ask you a question, and if you think you know the answer, just go ahead and call it out to those around you. So, here's a geography question to start us off. About how many miles is Russia from the United States? Actually, a place in Alaska is only 2 or 3 miles from Russia. How cool is that? So 2 or 3 miles. Do we have any budding astronomers out there? Here's a question for you. If you traveled at the speed of light, how long would it take you to reach Pluto? Anybody know the answer? It would only take 4 hours. Okay, here's a question for the animal lovers, specifically for the crazy cat people. How many muscles does a cat have in each ear? A cat has 32 muscles in each ear. That's 32 muscles working to completely ignore you with. And last question for the bug enthusiasts. How many ants live on this planet in any given moment? Scientists estimate 1 quadrillion or 1 million billion ants live on Earth right now. That's more than 1 million ants per human. That makes me squirm. Okay, you all did a really great job. Even though you didn't guess the correct answer every time, you were close. Now, what about some Bible facts? Maybe you come to church or talk about the Bible at home and have moments where you gain some knowledge about the Bible. Like, does anybody know how many books are in the Bible? Yep, there are 66 books. How about this one? What kind of tree did Zacchaeus climb? Yeah, Zacchaeus climbed a sycamore tree. And finally, what animal reached out and bit Paul when he was shipwrecked on the island of Malta? It was a snake. It's really impressive. So for many of you, these questions didn't faze you. And it's obvious that many of you have gained a lot of knowledge and tidbits in life. If you were to tell your friends all of the information that you know about bugs, they might say, "Stop flexing on me." But others may say, "Wow, you're so wise." But would that statement be accurate? This month, we're looking at wisdom, which is finding out what you should do and doing it. Does knowing all there is to know about geology or cats make you wise? It makes you smart for sure, but does knowledge make you wise? That's a really good question for us to ask. And when we have good questions, we should head to the Bible. Do you know why? Because the Bible is full of wisdom. Let's check it out. As we've already pointed out, the Bible is lengthy. There are 66 books with more than 700,000 words on approximately 1,200 pages, depending on the translation and how big the font is. The Bible has 2 major sections, the Old Testament and the New Testament. And the events of Jesus' life are concentrated within the first 4 books of the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. But those authors only share a few stories of Jesus before he was an adult. We know about Jesus' birth and then the visit from the wise men and a few years later, but after that, there's not a lot that we know about Jesus' childhood or how he grew up. However, we do know one very important story from when Jesus was about your age. Let's head there today. We find it in Luke chapter 2. Every year, God's law required every male to go to Jerusalem 3 times for different festivals. At this time, Jesus' entire family left Nazareth and headed to Jerusalem for the Passover feast. It was a celebration commemorating the time God delivered the Jews from slavery and escaped from Egypt. So, over here is going to be Nazareth. Okay, so Nazareth is over here. This trip would have taken several days. Jesus' family would have traveled with lots of people. And traveling in large numbers protected you from robbers along the roads. During this time, women and children would have journeyed in the front of the caravan, while the men brought up the back. Even though Jesus wasn't an adult yet, he was close enough to travel comfortably in the front or the back. And then Jerusalem is going to be here. So we got Nazareth here, Jerusalem here. This is the trip. So we don't know what Jesus thought or felt when he saw the city of Jerusalem perched on a rocky hillside. We can only imagine how exciting it must have been. I mean, Jerusalem would have been bustling with energy and people. Once inside, we do know his family joined the celebration all week long. This would have included good food, great conversation, prayer, and praising God. However, all good parties must come to an end. Wah, gotta go home. So Mary and Joseph gathered up their belongings and joined their family and friends for their long journey back to Nazareth. And after a day of travel, Joseph and Mary couldn't find Jesus anywhere. He wasn't with his cousins or his aunts or his uncles or his friends. In a hurry, they returned to Jerusalem to locate Jesus. They're running. Jesus, where are you? So I have no doubt in my mind that Mary and Joseph would have crisscrossed the entire city hoping to find their son. Surely they would have looked at all the hangout spots. Maybe the entrance of the city, each of the springs, the baker's house. They must have scanned the stables and the markets, but they couldn't find Jesus anywhere. Ultimately, Jesus' parents ended up at the temple courtyard. That's where they found Jesus. Check out what Luke records about this event. After 3 days, they found him in the temple courtyard. He was sitting with the teachers. He was listening to them and asking them questions. Imagine the scene after 3 days of searching, they found him sitting down on the floor surrounded by rabbis and teachers. Jesus was listening to the teachers discuss and debate. However, he wasn't just sitting idle. Rather, Jesus was asking really probing questions and contributing to the conversation. And those surrounding Jesus were amazed at his understanding and answers to the questions being discussed. This was interrupted when Mary and Joseph reached their son. The parents, no doubt, would have embraced their son and proceeded to question Jesus. But Jesus answered and told them that the temple, God's house, was exactly where he needed to be. Listen to how Jesus said it. "Why were you looking for me?" he asked. "Didn't you know I had to be in my Father's house?" Afterwards, Jesus returned to Nazareth with his family, obeying everything Mary and Joseph asked of him. And as he grew, the Bible says, Jesus became wiser and stronger. He also became more and more pleasing to God and to people. So this is such an interesting story. It started out in a big party with friends and family. But then Mary and Joseph must have been frightened, wondering about what happened to Jesus. Thankfully, Jesus was safe in the temple courtyard. And the story ended with every parent's prayer for their children as Jesus was seeking out godly wisdom. He was with the wisest people in his day. The picture I have of Jesus sitting with the teachers in Jerusalem mirrors what happens here each and every time we gather. You get to hang out with your friends in your grade, and these groups are safe places for you to ask questions, join in the discussions, and seek out wisdom. And our small group leaders bring fun and love and acceptance. Their age, life experiences, and pursuit of Jesus brings wisdom to the discussions. Yes, your leaders have lots of wisdom to share. And it doesn't mean that they have all the answers to every question, but it does mean that they're here to help you understand wisdom from the Bible as they've learned about it through the years. Wisdom is a treasure worth seeking, and having wisdom isn't the same as being smart. Surrounding yourself with wise leaders is a great place to seek out wisdom. This could be parents, small group leaders, coaches, grandparents, or your teachers. God gives us wise leaders so that we have a safe place to go and we can tell them how we're feeling or ask questions when we're not sure about something. The Bible is also another really awesome source of God's wisdom. Maybe you have the app on your phone or you have a book, but wisdom gained from this book cannot be achieved by using it as a pillow and absorbing the information while you're sleeping. We need to spend time reading it or listening to it. After that, we should take time to think about it, pray to God about it, and ask God to help us understand and apply what we're reading. Gaining knowledge is good. It allows us to know facts and information and details about the world, but that's not wisdom. So, as we close out today, I want you to think about this question. What does it mean to be wise? If wisdom is not just knowledge, how can you make sure you're making the wise choice? Every single day we have an opportunity to make the wise choices and even the opportunity to make unwise choices. Seeking out wisdom from wise sources is key, which is why I'm so glad you joined in today. So, make wise choices, surround yourself with wise people, and we'll see you guys next time.